I want you to close your eyes for just a second and picture the modern workplace as this massive, complex machine. Most of us, we only ever see the buttons we press every single day. Our daily tasks, our emails, our endless meetings. But beneath the surface, there is this huge, hidden machinery of economic logic that's actually driving every single gear.
Let's kick things off with a pretty sharp and honestly kind of sensitive question. Why is it that you can have one person, maybe a tired, really overworked employee, sweating for 10 hours a day just to survive, while someone else, perhaps a wealthy decision maker, makes an absolute fortune with just a couple of emails? It feels super unfair, right? But to really understand it, we've got to look past our initial emotions and dig into the hidden rules of the game.
We are going to demystify these hidden economic rules together by exploring some really fundamental frameworks. Things like market value, incentives, and fairness. You'll have the exact ideas and the right English vocabulary you need to confidently tackle those group discussions.
Let's jump right into our first real-world scenario. I want you to imagine a glamorous, high-stakes fashion runway. The lights are flashing, the music is pumping, but behind all that glitz, there's a stark reality. Female models typically earn significantly more than male models. Why is that? I mean, is it just because they work harder? Let's break down the logic.
The economic logic here is actually crystal clear. You see, pay is usually driven by the sheer size of the market and the value that person adds to sales, not just sheer physical effort or, who happens to be better looking. Women's fashion and cosmetics are simply massive markets because women generally spend way more on these products. A top female model can influence thousands more purchases than a top male model. Companies are more than happy to pay her more because, she brings in a much larger return on their investment.
Now, here's how you can use this in your workshop discussion. When you're planning out your own career, focus on building broadly applicable skills like strong English, AI skills, or high-level communication. Why? Because these are incredibly useful in large markets. Remember this key phrase for your discussion. Pay reflects market size and customer demand, not just human worth. You want to place your strengths right where the demand is growing fastest. Okay, let's leave the runway and step into a sleek, high-pressure corporate boardroom. Question number 2. Why do the salaries of CEOs or wildly successful tech founders grow at such massive, rapid speeds compared to, say, everyday workers?
What's absolutely fascinating here is this concept of leverage. Think about it. Thanks to modern technology and global markets, one single person, like a software founder or a CEO, can influence millions of people all at once. When your decisions affect millions of dollars or millions of users, even being just 1% better at your job creates a literally massive financial impact, and the market rewards that leverage heavily. So, when you bring this up in your workshop, try framing it around the word scale. It's not just about asking yourself, how many hours can I possibly work? It's about asking, how many people does my work actually affect? You should always look for positions that offer leverage. And remember, visibility in your role makes a huge difference when it comes time to negotiate your salary. Let's shift gears and picture a bustling, everyday office floor. You know the type, right? You probably know someone who is literally the absolute hardest worker in the room. They produce twice as much as the person sitting right next to them. But here is question 3.
Why on earth aren't they making double the salary? Well, the answer actually comes down to how companies look at fairness. If a company paid that top performer exactly what they produced, the pay gap in the office would be absolutely huge. Weaker workers might feel super discouraged, jealousy would definitely spike, and teamwork might just collapse entirely. So companies intentionally keep pay gaps narrower to protect team morale. In your discussions, you can point out that fairness in a company sometimes means valuing team stability and harmony over pure individual performance.
Moving on to question 4. I want you to imagine the sights, the sounds, and those amazing smells of a busy Taiwanese night market, or maybe a crowded retail store. Everywhere you look, receipts and digital invoices are constantly being printed or scanned. Why is there such a strict, almost obsessive insistence on this?
Here's the secret. It is not just for the customer's convenience. Actually, these receipts are basically invisible systems designed to monitor employees, completely prevent theft, and ensure fair tax collection for the government. A really good system shapes human behavior simply by making cheating so much harder to do. This completely flips how we should view transparency. It's not some annoying burden. It's actually a vital foundation that protects public trust and societal fairness. All right, let's step out of the night market and walk right into the heat of an intense, high-end kitchen. This is such a fascinating contrast. You've got a highly trained, sweating assistant chef chopping vegetables in the back. But out in the dining room, you have a server collecting tips. Why does the server often take home way more money at the end of the night? So, what's the logic? The crucial point here is understanding the difference between a stepping stone and a final destination. The assistant chef is taking lower pay right now because the job offers incredible future value. It is the direct, essential path to becoming a head chef one day. The server, on the other hand, gets higher immediate cash through tips, but that specific role might offer far less future career growth. This right here is a fantastic topic for your workshop. Definitely try using these exact phrases: trade-off, career path, and long-term growth. When your group is discussing jobs, remind everyone not to judge a position purely by its current monthly salary. You've got to always ask, does this pay me in cash right now, or does it actually pay me in really valuable future experience? Okay, let's zoom in on a 5-star mobile app rating screen, or maybe a cafe tip jar. Our 6th question looks at direct rewards. Why is it that we tip a delivery driver or give 5 stars to an Uber driver, but we'd never even think to tip our accountant or our doctor? You see, direct feedback, like tips and ratings, works brilliantly when a customer can easily judge the quality of the service right then and there. It actively encourages the worker to be careful and friendly. But, and this is a really great point to bring up in your discussion, relying on customer pressure doesn't work for everything. In some professions, relying on tips would cause massive unfairness or even an abuse of power. Different jobs just need completely different incentive systems. Let's change the scene to a tense corporate crisis room. The company has a massive problem, and they've just flown in an incredibly expensive outside expert to solve it. Why in the world would a company pay such a premium, sky-high rate for a temporary consultant instead of just hiring a regular, full-time manager to handle it? And you know what? This brilliantly illustrates an absolutely key business lesson. The cheapest hourly option is almost never the cheapest total option.
Paying a high premium for just a few months of highly specialized help or getting a neutral outside voice is often much cheaper overall than paying a year-round salary and benefits for a permanent staff member that you really only needed for one short-term crisis.
All right, let's shine a spotlight on a young, entry-level creative worker, or maybe a super dedicated intern. They're sitting under a single desk lamp, working super late into the night and making very little money. They are highly skilled, so why on earth would they accept such low pay?
This really just reinforces our earlier kitchen example. These skilled workers are making a choice. They're intentionally sacrificing immediate income because they view the job as a long-term investment. They're basically trading their cheap labor right now to gain access to invaluable experience, a great mentor, industry connections, and highly valuable future opportunities.
So here is a really powerful, practical takeaway for your own careers and definitely for your workshop discussions. Always balance your short-term survival with your future development. Choose learning-rich environments. But be careful. You have to ask yourself if the future opportunity is actually real. If a company constantly promises growth but only ever really wants your cheap labor, you absolutely must know when it's time to walk away.
Wow, we have covered a lot of ground today, really peeling back the layers on how the working world actually operates. So I'm going to leave you with this final provocative question to take directly into your workshop. What hidden economic rules will you apply to your very next career decision?
Join Beyond Norm Knowledge Workshop to master English and stay ahead in your career.